Hello. So I'm back. Like I said, I would be. I got the wild unknown animal spirits, the wild unknown tarot, and the mystical shaman oracle cards with the giveaway. In reverse at the bottom. So give, take, the take in. Opposite of the giveaway is the take in. Not to be confused with the take out, which is probably what I should have got before I did this. Or carry out for, 11, 12, 12, 11, 48, 53. The sorcerer came out with the sun at the bottom of the deck. And we could argue that the sorcerer is standing in front of the sun. Are they facing each other? They are. They are facing each other. I think I might keep those two. The witness in reverse at the bottom of the deck, 64, which is a 10. So 10, 11, 12, interestingly enough. With the 64, 53, 48. This makes me think of the Tower card and the Tarot, Astral Matrix Tarot. And in the Threads of Fate Oracle cards. How it was like when the eye was looking up, then the lightning wasn't striking, but when the eye looked down, that's when the lightning hit. Because with this in reverse, the light is shining downwards. Wow, haven't seen you in a while, Eve. How you doing? How are you? I just saw something on YouTube as I was getting my 3 hours and 45 minutes of pure white screen ready. 3 plus 4 plus 5 is 7, 5, 12. 10, 11, 12. My arm is sore, and I don't know why. Right, Sandra? I feel like it's been a whole 5 minutes. I'm kidding. It made me think when I had a chemistry. Upper World 59 in reverse under that witness. Interesting. I had a organic chemistry class, and the TA. Oh, look at that owl. Speak of Athena. Oh, it could be. That would make sense. It wasn't hurting too badly when I was out there. Oh, gosh. The Orphic, the Cosmic Egg, the Earthworm, and the Elephant. Notice the egg and then this. With the elephant. Elephant almost feels like protection because of how the trunk is wrapped around the fire. And then also the crow and the hawk. So apparently this is a little bit of a theme. With these colors. But I'm mixing these together. I'll probably reshuffle those two. I just wanted to shuffle this one by itself a little bit. But anyway, when I took organic chemistry, the TA was like, this is the type of question the professor will ask on the test. This is the type of question he'll ask when we had a review session, or sometimes like if the TA had to teach the class because the professor was out, the barefoot professor. He would tell us like, this is the type of question that he'll ask on the exam. And it's because he said that after that class, when I took exams, I would pay attention to what questions the professors would ask and how they would ask the questions. And I remember in later classes being like, having that, like, as I was studying, it's like, oh, like this is the type of question they'll have on the exam. That's the type of question they'll have on the exam. I can see them like asking a question like this. And sometimes, not all the time, but sometimes those exact questions would pop up. And it's because he had first introduced, look, there's the sun again with the daughter of Cups. Look at this. And they're on the same side. Because of the rainbow on the face of the sorcerer. And then we get the sun. Whites. Oof, that's not how that goes. Those don't shuffle like that. Yeah. And I know, like, I was studying with one of my Sagittarius best friend. And after that, I was like, this is the type of question that Professor High Priestess will ask. And so anyway, I mentioned this because I saw something. It was like something about like how to study for an exam or preparing for an exam or something like that. And it made me think of that. I don't know if that'll be relevant at all. It may be, it may not be. I don't know if tests are still a thing that we are going through, but I don't know if tests are necessarily a thing that we ever stop going through. I guess we only stop going through tests when they stop being tests. You know what I mean? Like, as long as it's a test, it'll be a test. I'm trying to get my ream shuffle in. There is quite a concentration of tarot here. I'm going to cut these in half and shuffle the halves. So yeah, it made me think of that. I don't know if that'll be relevant at all. But, if you've gone through a certain amount of tests before, maybe it's like Pluto retrograde. Maybe it's a retrograde or a return. Or it's an aspect that you've experienced before. And it's like every other time you've had that aspect, it's like what came up and in what way. And how did you overcome it if you overcame it? Because that might be helpful. The Tower and the Dolphin. But I just wanted to pull some of these because I haven't pulled them in a while, and Reem used them the other day, I'm sure. I think I had a dream where I pulled them. I was like, yeah, I want to do that. I haven't combined these in a minute. Ooh, look at that decent shuffle. Oh my God. It's a big dog. The large dog immediately comes out. That's interesting. These two are looking at each other. It's cool like this. The hyena immediately comes out. What am I doing? And the tarantula. Tarantula is one that used to come out quite a bit. What's at the bottom of the deck? The Phoenix. With this Five of Swords. But that's the thing about worms, right? It's like if you cut an earthworm in half, it's like it'll regrow or something like that. And it's interesting because the earthworm was just at the bottom of the deck in between the cosmic egg and it was the cosmic egg, the earthworm, and what was the other thing? The elephant. The cosmic egg, the earthworm, and the elephant. And so again, we get that ether, spirit, fire, and earth. This combination of elements again. Oh, she snuck out of the yard before. This is your sin, big dog. What am I doing? I'm going to put these back. I'm going to clear my head and then we will pull something. Why not? Why not ask Bixby to give us a sign? Oh, look, there's the white tiger. Give us a sign. The white tiger came out in that Four of Swords for Capricorn. I'm going to just give this a few shuffles. I don't think I did a Reem-inspired reading in a minute. Is it time to do another? Nah. We'll ask Bixby. Am I really already 10? I'm already 11 minutes into this video. So whatever sign this is for, all of that was for you. Hi, Bixby. Roll a D12.
All right. You rolled a 6.
A 6. Leo? Is that you, Leo? No, that's Virgo. I did that last time. Virgo came out and I called it Leo. Oh, gosh. See, this would be Virgo. Oh. I don't feel like getting into it with you today, Virgo. Virgo, I love Virgo, but lately it's just been so almost like WTF. Like, but not in a bad way. Just in a like, what does this even mean? It's like this super, like, cosmic, mystical, like, what? And then it's like, Virgo? Virgo of all the signs, it's always the quiet ones. And Virgo said it's true. So we'll see. We'll see. I'm going to start with I want to get 3 of them. Mystical Shaman, Oracle cards. All right, Virgo. I was out in the woods today. Are deer Virgo cards? Ooh. Middle World Virgo, 36-9. Starting off very interestingly. Oh, that was quick. There's one in reverse. I'll keep it in reverse. And then one last card for Virgo. One last card for Virgo, please. One last card for Virgos. One last card for Virgo. Oh, no. No. Are you a Virgo, Sandra? I'm thinking of a number between 1 and 5. I know Eve is a Virgo. I'm thinking of a number between 1 and 5. If you guess the number, I will keep these cards. So any Virgo in here right now, pick a number between 1 and 5. If you don't guess it, I'll just reshuffle and get 1 card instead of like 10. I will take a Virgo stellium. Wait, is 4 your guess? Or do you have 4 placements in Virgo? Wait, did you both say 4? I'm like twirling my hair. Yeah. It's like twirlable. Both. Okay, the number was 3, so we will reshuffle. But like soul retrieval, I guess we'll do a preview of the cards. Soul retrieval. Oh gosh, see, this is why I don't want to do Virgo. Soul retrieval, lightning. I'm like, what? The beloved, the luminous warrior, the journey, completion, ancient ones, the holy mountain, and the arrow. I'm like, no, please, like, let's like, Virgos aren't y'all like earth signs or whatever? Like, can we ground this? can we like please like Pisces does that to you? All right, Virgo. Yeah, but that's like not earthy enough. I'm looking at the ravens. I'm looking at everything else in this Middle Earth, our middle world. Okay, there we go. Oh gosh, Virgo. So one of the cards that was in that run of cards just came out. And at the bottom of the deck is the last card that was in that run of cards. So the arrow is at the bottom of the deck. The Ancient Ones is the card that came out. So, Virgo, let's get into it. Let's get into it. Ooh, you got plenty of Pisces and Virgo. I love that combination. No problem. That was for the two of you. I'm actually going to split this deck into three. Am I going to do three separate parts? So this is how I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this Eve style. See, I almost did this Eve style, but then I'm like, I would have to record 2 additional separate videos. And now I'm like, ooh. So I won't do it as separate videos. What's interesting is it's a 36-9, the middle world. So in a way, we have the end and the beginning with the 1. From 1 to 36, that's the Lenormand. There are 36 Lenormand cards. I'll use the Mirror Truth Lenormand because that has the traditional 36. Excuse me. I got the expanded Gilded Reverie Lenormand. So that one has more than 36, but goodness. Ooh. Okay. Am I keeping this? The gentleman just like flipped over. I'm not going to keep it. I'm going to put it back. Oh, okay. Thought they were going to be reversals for a second. So how am I going to do this? Am I going to timestamp this? So this is what I'm going to do. Because I already went live once today. I think you get like 3 notifications within a 24-hour period, which would be fine. Because I think I'm going to link these anyway. So I can't make a decision, so I'll ask Bixby to flip a coin. If Bixby says tails, I'll separate these into 3 different videos. Hi, Bixby. Flip a coin.
All right. It came up heads.
It's heads, okay. I didn't think I was going to do it that way because that's a lot of work. So we're just going to timestamp it. I want to do these separate, but they might not be. But I'm still going to timestamp these because I was going to say either choose like the middle world /9 / the end, or the ancient one /1 / the beginning. So if you're watching this after the fact, you can do it that way, or you can watch all of it. If you're watching it live, I mean, you can still pick if it's live. I have a feeling it isn't necessary. Like, they're not necessarily going to be separate, but it might be easier to start at one and then to incorporate the others. It might not be. I don't know. Oops. So I'm just going to call it the end. The end and the beginning. And then the intro. / ramble. I'll do the ramble. 99.99. Okay. 0000. So 21:30. I'm gonna start with the end, starting with the middle world. 21:30. The 21 and 3, like 3 and 3. 3 and 3 is 6, and here's a 36. I don't know why my Sagittarius best friend just came to mind, but she did. I guess I have a few Sagittarius best friends now. So I gotta find a different way. My American Sagittarius best friend. Anyway. I'm gonna give this 3 shuffles. And I'm gonna cut this into 3 as well. Oops. Oh, because of the arrow. I read snow. The arrow was another 3. But what's maybe because of the arrow? Oh gosh. I just bent those something ferocious. Top. Oh, 2 cards. Clouds and Coffin. 6 and 8. And then the bottom is the garden. Number 20. Oh my gosh. This is literally 28. 28 was at the bottom. Oh, Sagittarius. Duh. Maybe, yeah. It could be. I was like, Arrow, what are you talking about? He was like, the Sagittarius that you were literally just talking about. 28. The garden with the coffins, that's the cemetery that was literally just me walking in the cemetery. The middle world being a 9 being the end is interesting because when they released the first Cassiopean message, oh snap. It's interesting because why is it interesting? It's not the end. And just between like the clouds and the coffin, it can be very much like death is not the end. Okay. Lenormand is a little bit of a struggle for me. Hey, Holly. Excuse me. I feel like I'm already starting to get nauseous. It's fine. With clouds and coffin, there's a little bit of a the energy of decomposers and how it's decomposers that take the dead, break it down into minerals that then go back into like fertilizing, providing the nutrition, nourishment for new life. So death is not the end. Oh my gosh. I don't want to do this anymore. Virgo, this is the last reading that y'all will ever get from me. I can't do this. Oh my gosh. It feels like, well, it's the middle world, so I guess it makes sense. Because it feels like it's that space between life and death. Technically, it's the space between death and life, but it doesn't matter. It's still the space between life and death. Well, the space between life and death is living. So it's the space between death and life. Um, oh gosh. Is this just like the experience on Earth in general, though? Because first it's the cloud in the coffin, which feels very pre incarnation. It has a very pre incarnation sort of feeling to it. And then there's the middle world and the garden. And like, this is like when, while we're like living, this is life. So this is in between life and death. The garden, it's living with everybody else on the planet. This is between death and life. So do I have to split this again? What is happening? It feels like there's something like bigger here. I'm gonna mute this real quick. It feels like there's something bigger here, but I'm not getting into it. It's not happening. Find another reader, or like your guides can carry you through this further. This isn't meant to be all encompassing. It's introductory. The messages will continue to unfold and unravel and unwind as you move forward. More specifically for you, this is the general portion. Oh gosh, I should have known it was Virgo. If it's science, it's Sagittarius. If it gives me a headache and makes me nauseous, it's Virgo. Okay. Why did that song, Time Goes By So Slowly, just pop into my mind? Time goes by so slowly. What does that mean? Excuse me. So the Hawk and the Father of Swords came out. The bottom of the deck is the Whale with the star. And speaking of formerly Miss Remy Healings, currently the Rare Gazelle. And the deers I saw. The deer, when I was like genuinely scared for a hot second. Because I was like, I'm fenced in with these wild animals. But they were across the street. They were on the other side of the fence. They weren't like large dogs that just got loose. They were deer. None of them had antlers or horns. So, you know, if it was a buck, maybe it would have been a different situation. But the golden egg is behind this star. But the whale is here. I'm going to take this on this side. So that's on the death to life side. I'm not enjoying this. I love Virgos, so I do this for you. What about the life to death side? Nothing? Maybe I'll read this side first. This is so just like, I'll just go with it. So this feels like on the death to life side or the before life side, it feels like at the time of birth, it feels like this hawk is like as Virgo is being born, as Virgo is exiting the birth canal or the cavernous womb when the C-section happens, or however you're born, I don't know. As Virgo is coming into the world, it feels like this hawk is symbolic of like it's like this energy that goes out, but it's like all of these different fate / destiny points for Virgo to experience on the roadmap of their life. And then I guess the Father of Swords would be the things that they have to teach you. Or it's like the stuff that you're supposed to integrate along the way. And it's very like the Fool's journey through the major arcana type of energy. And the bottom of the deck is the whale, which is like it's old, it's ancient, it's like mystical and magic. It's beneath it's like deep sea-ish energy, but it also has to come to the surface to breathe. It's like there are these very deep core sort of things within Virgo that are going to be awakened through certain encounters or experiences that were set up as you came into the world to almost like give those things back to you. And so it feels very like almost like past lifey in a way, but not necessarily. It feels like there are like certain, what did Liam Neeson say? Certain skills that you have that make you a nightmare for people like whoever would kidnap your children or whatever. I don't know. Almost like magical, mystical, ancient relics that you would go out and collect. That it's like as you get them, it's interesting because it feels like it can be easy to think that the power lies somewhere outside of you, but it feels like it's actually yours. Or maybe it's just part of your connection to the divine. It's how the unique spark of the divine within you shines. Going back to the star at the bottom, that was at the bottom. Hey, look, now the fish is there. maybe there's a Pisces that could help you with this like whale energy. Maybe I'm that Pisces. Just kidding. Just kidding. Um, but that's what this feels like. And it feels like it's important to like say that it's not complete either. Not that it's incomplete, but it's like there's more. It's like this is not all of who you are. It feels like it's a facet. Or it may pull on a few different facets, but it's not like all that you have to give the world. Maybe it's like your mission or whatever. I don't know. Ah, look at that, the star. Formerly at the bottom of the deck, now in my hand. See, it's almost like this would be your soul. And then this is like, this sword is assembled using pieces of that. But it's like the whole card is your soul. And these are just the parts that are like serving, fulfilling this specific purpose and function. But there's more to Virgo than just this. I feel like that's important to say for some reason. I don't know why. Who is calling me? Oh, it's my mom. 1 second. She thought I was still at the cemetery. I was like, no. Well, I got my phone on vibrate, and it was like a strong vibrate. I was like, is my phone ringing? And then I picked it up, and it was my mom calling me. She was like, what are you doing? I was like, I'm live. She was like, at the cemetery? I was like, in my room, but I guess I was live at the cemetery. I'll take it. The Ace of Wands is at the bottom of the deck. This is interesting. If I didn't know any better, Virgo, I would ask you who you are. But I know I don't want to know the answer, so we're going to keep it moving. But it's because, again, it feels like this is such a small part of, or it's just like maybe it's not a small part of who you are, but it's not you in your entirety. It's not you in your totality, but just that much of you is like this bright in the world. And maybe Virgo, it's for you to shine. And it's interesting that I confused you for Leo because the Ace of Wands in the garden is a very Leo energy. It's like you're supposed to shine, but but the Ace of Wands makes it feel like it's like you're supposed to initiate something. You're supposed to start something. or this. It's the beginning. It feels like it's the beginnings of a mighty tree. I'm gonna look through here to see if I have any trees. Hey, the deer is in here. No trees. Okay. We'll just call it a mediumship energy. She thinks everyone should message it. We'll call this. We'll say Virgo, you might be a medium, and the reason why I say that is because the King of Swords under the coffin. It looks like somebody like poking things into the ground in a cemetery. I'm like, what does that mean? I don't know. Oh, snap. I've never noticed these. These little owls. You see those little owls? Girl, no, we're not doing that. We're not doing that. This isn't that kind of channel. This isn't that kind of channel. And that's a heavy energy. It's just like if yeah, it's like if you would have lost someone when they were young, like they didn't even necessarily get the opportunity to be born, or they were just like barely born. Um, it feels like there's a message of comfort that wants to come through, but I'm not necessarily trying to dig into all that. And, you know, with the little baby owls in the cemetery. Um, I think what's going to be interesting for Virgo is, though, it feels like the task or the burden of communicating these things falls on Virgo. But like we get the hawk and the whale. The whale being one of the most subaquatic of the animals in the deck, one of the ones that go the deepest, and the hawk being a bird in the sky. So this is interesting because it's like you got the bird in the sky, your card is Middle Earth, and then you have the whale like deep down below. So Virgo truly is like a mediator in the middle type of energy. And it's almost like with Virgo being mutable Earth, Virgo is holding like it's like my mom was talking about some the man who fell from the sky. It was a show she's watching and she wants me to watch it. But it feels like it's up to Virgo to start to like on Earth be some of these things. So you could be like very connected. But it feels like and it just feels like some of the stuff like doesn't yet exist or it's like conversations that aren't being had. It's energy that doesn't have much of a foothold in the world. And it's like it's on Virgo to be that foothold, or to start initiating those conversations, to start building that foundation for these things to come into being. And so with the baby birds in the coffin, that could also be like energies that are waiting to cross the threshold into life, or like back into life. But it's almost like the world has to be, earth has to be ready for them. It's like when you walk through a house before, um, like when you're getting ready to have a baby and you want to make sure everything is like child proofed, or you just go through your house and you assess the potential dangers for the baby or whatever. It's kind of like that. And so it almost feels like, and then like if we ground this, it's just like, we're in a space of we're in a space of being open to great change. The potential for change is immense right now. And in some ways, in some spaces, we already sort of like have the technology, we already have the resources, we already have the foundation to enact some of these changes. We just got to like start doing it. In some cases, we have the idea, we have the resources, we have the technology, but we don't necessarily know how it all goes together. It's just like Virgo is sitting in the space of putting us in preparation to welcome whatever next big things are coming in. And again, it feels like it makes sense because Virgo is mutable Earth. So as the Earth is passing out of one season and coming into the next, Virgo helps in that transition. Okay, I like that. We're grounding this. We are squeezing, we're making it compact because all that, I'm sorry, that's for your team. Take it as it resonates. If it unfolds and unravels and unfurls into something like, for you, that's your headache, that's your nausea. Let's go to the side of the ancient ones. Let me move all of this first. Let me try to consolidate. Well, I'll read the one in the middle. I'll read the one in the middle. And then when I do the ancient ones, um, I'll read the one in the middle again. Oh, very good. E with the play-by-play. Um, it's interesting that you mentioned rainbow babies because I had a dream a few nights ago. Like we were in like an assembly hall at like a school, and there was somebody that had like this board thing, and it was separated into like 9 or 16 different sections. It was like a square. Like if I think about the dream, I feel like it was 16, but when I really think about it, I feel like it was 9. And it was like a bet, and the person was like, if you don't guess, it's like on the tic-tac-toe board, right? If you don't guess where this correct whatever is, then you have to come back as a rainbow. And you got like 7 out of 9 guesses, like 5 to 7 out of 9 tries to get it right. And it's like, if you lose, you got to come back as a rainbow. And it was a setup, obviously, but I lost. And then the person next to me was like, it was this one guy I went to school with. I met him in middle school. Um, but he did it too, and he lost. So he had to come back as a rainbow. I was like, okay. I don't know what it means, but it was cool. The card that came out, the card in the middle is water. Is this the water of the womb, Virgo? Coming from the left side, it could be the water of the womb. It's also interesting that there is a similar sort of like behind the tree, but water is the thing that flows through everything on Earth. It's the carrier of life, at least on this planet. Um, I don't know if there is any life that is sustained without water. Even cactuses get water. The rider number 1 at the bottom as I pick it up. There aren't too many cards here, so. Ooh. So number 29 and surprise, surprise, and number 36. Another 36. The Lady in the Cross. Who is this? I don't think I've ever noticed this before. First, I noticed this big old stained window looking thing, and then I see, is that Virgo? Is that the Hermit standing back there? Looking very similar to the coffin. Here's the coffin again if you need a reminder. And even in the lady card, like we see all the steeples in the cross. And in the lady card, like there are these, you see the buildings sort of in her hair and behind her. Isn't 6 Virgo? 6 is Virgo. Hey, 6 came out. Virgo and see something between Virgo and Scorpio. That's Virgo and Scorpio. I know Scorpio is like the underworld because of Pluto, because of Hades. Virgo's right there. That's why they sextile. Virgo doesn't talk about it. But I know that something's going on between Virgo and Scorpio, and they're trying to keep Pisces out of it. Oh gosh. Let's just get the cards. Let's get the cards. Judgment is at the bottom of the deck. Oof. Is this Virgo? I feel like that's Virgo in here, but we're not going to talk about it unless we have to. And I almost want to ask the question again. It's like, Virgo, who are you? Do you even know who you are, Virgo? Maybe Virgo does. Virgo keeps her sextiles to herself. Yeah, Virgo's a virgin. She doesn't have any sex tiles. It's like, okay, Virgo. And Scorpio would never tell. The 3 of Swords with fire ants at the bottom of the deck. But then there's this interesting earth air. There's a Merkaba in between these if we like slide those together. See you, Sandra. Excuse me. But the 3 of Swords and the fire ants, that's a very, very, very heavy energy. Wait. The snake is at the bottom of the deck. This is the 7 in between the 6 and the 8 over here. I just wanted to make sure I get the right parts with the right parts. The spider and the moth. the moth would get caught in. This is interesting. So Virgo at the bottom of the deck, it's fire, earth, air, and water. Fire ants, the spider, the moth, and the shark. Another, akin to the whale. Uh, More deep sea sort of energy. You got a whole bunch of the bottom of the deck is like all animals. The fire ants, the spider, the moth, the shark, the mouse, the nightingale, the tiger, the cobra, matching the snake at the bottom, and then the Six of Cups, and the Five of Wands behind that Six of Cups. And there's a mixture between like predator and prey. But yeah, the Three of Swords, with fire ants under the space of water makes it feel very painful and distracting. The Three of Swords in the Wild Unknown Tarot is one of my favorites because it has the way it's illustrated makes it feel like this is a corridor. Like there's something beyond or behind this pain. But because it's blocked by the Three of Swords, we don't want to go past it. So not only like it feels like with the energy of the fire ants, it's an extremely vulnerable or like raw space too. Um, Fire ants, it feels like a repeat energy, like a specific experience or a specific set of experiences that happen over and over and over and over and over again. Um, and it doesn't sound great or look like it feels very pleasurable either. And this almost makes me think of yesterday. With that, it's like in going through the Eight of Swords, there's some kind of disconnect that happens because it feels like the power of Virgo lies behind this Three of Swords with the fire ants. Um, and it's interesting that, we get the King of Swords that came out on the other side. The Star is also a card of healing. And so the Father of Swords almost has the ability to not like turn that healing into a weapon. Um, but it's like that healing is the sword that becomes the what symbolizes the healing is the sword, and it feels like that sword has the power to. It's almost like the sword has the power to heal as it cuts. Almost very Sashomaru in Inuyasha. If you've seen Inuyasha, probably not. But in Inuyasha, it's interesting that the more violent, aggressive brother is the one whose sword can only heal, and the less, like the more sociable, like more caring, empathic brother gets the sword that only causes the destruction, or like it only causes destruction. But it makes me think of Sashomaru's sword. where like it actually heals people. But it feels like it at the same time, it's like it only cuts out corruption or something like that. And so I wouldn't be surprised if this is like, maybe this is a reason why Virgo is paired up with Scorpio too. I don't know why Scorpio wouldn't just go to Pisces. I'm kidding. Hey Steph, how are you doing? It makes me think of when I was young. There was this one girl at my church, and one day she pulled me to the back of the church. People thought we like made out or whatever. But she was like, "Hey, like, can I practice something on you? And like, don't tell anybody." I was like, "Yeah, sure," because I'm some naive, gullible Pisces. I'm just like, "Yeah, like, what is that?" And like, she took me. Sorry, I don't mean to laugh. She took me to the back of the church and she like laid hands on me. And she was like, "Did you feel anything?" Like she practiced on me. Or like she tried to see if like that gift was hers on me. And I don't remember how that played out. I don't remember if I did or if I didn't. I don't remember if I said I did or if I didn't, or if I said I didn't. Um, but it makes me think of that for some reason. But I think there is a caution to almost like not bite off more than you can chew. Um, and now I almost wonder if this fire ant energy isn't actually outside of Virgo. And like if Virgo isn't the honey that all of these ants flock to. And it's this that begins to pain Virgo. Is this some like hyper empathic Virgo or something? Uh, but it feels like if that is the case, it feels like Virgo would take on that pain. And it feels like it might be difficult for Virgo to be able to differentiate the pain like of and from others from their own. It feels like there's something that Virgo almost like takes on. And it's interesting because usually I would say like, or it feels like it would usually follow that it's something that was already within Virgo for Virgo to like take it on, or for Virgo to be sensitive to it in that way. It's almost like it had to already be within, so it's not just others. Because I think sometimes for one that identifies as an empath, it might be tricky sometimes to differentiate like what actually is the empath's pain or what actually is the empath and not other people. Because I'm sure, like, once you're used to feeling other people's whatever, it can be easy to always think it's someone else. But, like, can you tell when it is actually you? Sometimes it is easier to just say it's someone else and try to lock it out or to try to block it or whatever. But if it persists, it might be you, might not be. In this case, it doesn't necessarily feel like it is Virgo, though, which is interesting. Oof. Virgo was what? Mother Teresa? Hello? So the Father of Cups, the Black Swan, just came out, and the Cobra was at the bottom of the deck, but under the Cobra was the Swan. But it's interesting that the Swan has the black water triangle. So I feel like it almost re-emphasizes that point of like it's not Virgo. It's like Virgo might have put it on and it may have like bled into Virgo, but it feels like in its core essence, because in this space of like reflection and truth or whatever, it's not actually Virgo. It is actually outside of Virgo. But it's this that helps Virgo connect. This is so interesting. It almost gives me a little bit of a Capricorn, or the energy that was in Capricorn. Because, like, I'm not saying that Virgo was cruel and cold hearted and extra critical, and Virgo doesn't feel anything. Because it feels like Virgo feels a lot more than we may initially think. Uh, it's like there's a lot of water, but for Earth, that makes sense. Because a lot of, again, with the middle world having that whole like watery background, a lot of what gives Earth the capability to be the bed of life is water. It's the water in the soil that nourishes the roots. It's the water that falls from the sky. It's Earth's ability to almost, in a way, direct water or to withhold water and to release water when it needs to, that gives it the ability to bring forth life. Earth is dependent on all elements in order to thrive. And we got the fire, the water, the air. Unfortunately, on this side of the air, it's the Three of Swords. On the Middle Earth side, at least, it was like the Hawk and the Father of Swords. So it feels like most of the challenge in this, at least from the side of the middle world, is interconnection with people. It's not like connecting to spirit or connecting to nature. It feels like it's people. Um, See, but like with this Cobra, because the Cobra is a mentor, is a teacher in this deck. Like this teaches Virgo something. And it's not, it feels like it's not too far of a stretch to say that all of this that leads to Virgo, like just like soaking up a lot of that, it's not too far of a stretch to say that that could be a part of what was sent out with this hawk energy to be a part of the lessons for Virgo to learn in order to sort of like realize something or to tap into something that lies deep within Virgo with that whale, in order to be on this planet, to be that in these interactions, to serve as the spring, pun intended, board for some things to begin to like really grow. And it's interesting because it feels like an energy that we would more often associate with Libra, because Libra being cardinal air is like relationships and stuff like that. But it feels like it's actually Virgo that's coming in and transforming these relationships in some kind of way. At least from left to middle. So and it feels very bridge energy. But again, it's mutable earth. So being a bridge isn't too, it feels like it's not surprising if we just look at Virgo from that way. But to look at Virgo from like a different way, maybe a little bit more, I don't know. So that was all from the Middle Earth. So more incarnation centric, maybe. Now we're going to timestamp the beginning / the ancient ones. And I'm going to call that 111. So 111 is a 3. Oh, 111, 111. And the ancient ones is 1. Fitting. Okay. So I'm actually going to get the Lenormand last, and we're going to go to the animals and tarot first. There is a very interesting energy, though, from that one. But it almost doesn't matter who you are. It's what you do. Right? It's how people feel when they leave your presence and when they leave your company. So, ancient ones on the other side. Oof, I feel like I'm doing a decent job of making this not just like, wait. Because at the end of the day, it could be very like, wait, but does it matter? I feel like from a spiritual egoic point, it can be very satisfying to be like, ooh, like, you know, I'm this, or I'm connected to that, or I have this set of abilities, and I'm blah, 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 blah. But it's like at the end of the day, if it doesn't enrich or benefit the world in any like real way, does it matter? Like, oh, you could have been a pharaoh in your past life, but does it matter today? Is you being a pharaoh in your past life helping you to do your part to make the world a better place? Is you being a pharaoh in your past life helping you in this current day and time presently, like make your life any better, your experience any more comfortable? Like, does any of that stuff actually matter? Because that, the middle world, it was about doing things that matter on earth in your day-to-day life to make the world better, to make the lives of the people you interact with better, because maybe some of the people that you interact with, that you help see one more day, 2 more days, that you help stay in the fight until they can like, until their foundation is more solid. And like maybe they're the ones that go out and come up with the next great invention, or come up with this thing or that thing, or they're instrumental in something that'll happen years from now. And you were the person that made all of the difference in the world to them, and you maybe didn't even know it. Like, those are the things that matter. And like coming from the end, it's about what matters. But anyway, back to the ancient ones. That's why I feel like part of that is the reason why it's like with the Father of Swords and even with the Star, it's like this isn't all of who you are, but this is like what matters, or this is like what's gonna get something going with that Ace of Wands. It's the beginning. It's to initiate. Not to say that like, you know, you aren't some super amazing, worthy of awe, whatever, but if it doesn't matter, it doesn't matter. What good does it do? What good is it doing you? You know what I mean? Maybe it's doing you some good anyway. Anyway. Ooh, right? Okay. Maybe I should have breathed a little bit more. We're going to put it back in the deck. If it comes back out, then it's meant to be. And the cards do that. Trust. They do it. Oh, what? Hold up. The Six of Wands and the Two of Cups. Emphasis on the butterfly change, emerging from the darkness into the light. But with this Two of Cups, that's an interesting energy. We're talking about the ancient ones. So I'm going to breathe. Okay. Ace of Pentacles with the Six of Wands. Okay, I like that. Well. Immediately, the Scorpion. Virgo, are we going to have to talk about Scorpio? The bottom of the deck is the Rabbit. Earth, or Fire and Earth. Fire and Earth is a combination that seems to be coming out. The Elephant and the Earthworm was Fire and Earth. That was the other side. This is your side, the ancient ones. Fire and Earth is interesting for the ancient ones. Because the core is at the center of Earth. The Scorpion and the Rabbit. With the ancient ones, do you fear your potential? Virgo? Question mark. Or maybe Virgo is the core of the molten core might be a little more chaotic. I feel like the word isn't chaotic, but I'm going to use the word chaotic because it feels like it's the closest word without the connotations of chaos. But maybe it's more chaotic in terms of like pure primal energy before it has purpose, before it has function, before it's given direction. So it's almost a little bit of like everything everywhere all at once. There's no real order to it because it hasn't yet been given an order or something like that. It's not chaos in the way that, lack of peace and whatever. It's not that kind of chaos. But it feels like there is a primality to that Virgo might be a little bit intimidated by, or may be like a little timid at. Now, let's say, what are you connecting to, Virgo? Let's say that. I've never seen Bambi, but I know Thumper is a rabbit. Wait, like the Thumpers in Dune? Oh, I don't know those either. I've never seen Dune. Wasn't Old Doom that one movie that plays on like, is it TMC like all the time? Or maybe my dad is just watching it all the time. Because I think there's a new one, but I think there was an old one. And I think I've seen some of the old one. With like people and like whatever. Anyway. Let's keep shuffling. Feels like the Scorpion can be medicine. But it feels like Virgo shies away from this. Yeah, see? The elk flipped over. More earth. With that eclipse and the horns, very fiery energy, the sun. I feel like the elks being protection. It feels like there is a side to this energy that isn't. It feels like this is the fear that the rabbit has around that ancient one's energy. And it's like the way it came out, the Scorpion is at the rabbit's back. So it's, that's an aside. I don't have to go there. Hey, look at me learning how to focus. But it feels like it can also be this. This is that fire grounded in an earth way. This is as it is. So again, it feels like in the core it's chaos because it hasn't yet been given a purpose, a function, or a direction. It doesn't even have a form, really. It has a form, but that's because of the container it's in, because of the solid outer core, because of the crust, because of every layer outside. It has a form, but it doesn't have a form itself. It's only given a shape because of its container. Is Virgo the container, or does Virgo create the container? Maybe Virgo. Ooh, I kind of like that. It's like Virgo creates, and I was talking about with one of my friends recently ish. Friend, if you are there, you might not be, but you might be. Um, oh no, this was my journey buddy. This was my journey buddy. I thought it was a different friend for some reason. Why did I think it was a different friend for some reason? This was my journey buddy. Um, it was like there's the anthill, or like there's in this subterranean energy. Like there are all these tunnels and everything. But she was talking about something, and it reminded me of a video that I've seen of someone who had poured molten metal into an anthill, and then they pulled it up. They dusted off all the dirt, and it was like that metal in the shape of the anthill. But when I was talking with my journey buddy, the metal was gold. It makes me think of this energy. Like Virgo being mutable earth creates like these anthill tunnels for that primal energy to flow into. And once it solidifies, it's given that purpose, it's given that function. And it's like Virgo can do it to be protection. Where like at first with that chaos, it's easier to fear it with the sting of the scorpion. So that's how it becomes medicinal. It becomes medicinal through something that Virgo does. So this is interesting. This is interesting. Just as an aside, it feels like some of the purpose / function is the same as the middle world side, but it feels like on the side of the ancient ones, it's much more behind the scenes almost. It feels like it's more like day-to-day interactive, but we haven't gotten to the middle yet, so it may come out with some interactive energies just like it did last time. Do not know. But it's about the Virgo giving something some kind of purpose, and the crow is behind that elk. So again, we have a little bit of that earth and air energy, but this time they're both light. I think last time one of them was dark over here. Was that at the bottom of the deck? I don't think I pulled it. So anyway, this is different. This is different. We gotta move that off to the side. We gotta. I'm kidding. I only dab ironically, but I love it. I love it. I used to, one of my old Sagittarius buddies, I used to love being cringy in public just because it made him cringe. And I felt maybe I was some sick, sadistic, twisted person that I derived some kind of joy from making him cringe. But it was just like, we don't have to take ourselves so seriously. We can have fun. We can be just stupid sometimes. So anyway, maybe it was wrong of me to do that or to be that. So anyway, he did take himself quite seriously at times. Too seriously sometimes. He thought very highly of himself and his abilities. And I'm like, okay. Maybe that's why that friendship didn't really last. Because all I would like from my side, it was just like anytime I was like towards the end of the friendship, like first of all, our friendship was almost the literal definition of a trauma bond. Like he's someone that I met through a mutual friend. And then there was another friend in that friend group that I didn't like because he made jokes that were in very poor taste and just had a sense of humor that I didn't appreciate. This Sagittarius dude had like a dark sense of humor, but it was like on the border. It wasn't as bad as the other dude. So, and then there came a point in time when we stayed in the same building over the summer, and I was like, hey, like, we, I talked to him because he seemed interesting, and I was depressed, and he was depressed, and we became friends because of our shared limited interest in living. Question mark. It's very weird. But anyway, like it came the point in time for me, like I had my whole darkest night, and I was like, I'm done with this because I actually do want to keep living. Imagine that. I would like to no longer be a depressed mess that is in this nearly almost perpetual at this point state of just sinking deeper and deeper and deeper into the abyss. I was like, I'm done. You know, I'm not a Scorpio. I can't live there. Just kidding. Sorry. Um, and it's almost like when I was surfacing, it started to rub him the wrong way, and he started to get annoyed and stuff. And I'm like, yeah, I'm not going to let you intentionally try to bring me down or ruin my day. I don't. And it just came to like when our friendship ended, he already knew, and I knew. It was just like, yeah, no. And so maybe instead of like being annoying, I was just like trying to like lighten things up a little bit. You know what I mean? By things not always being so heavy all the time. Anyway, I don't know where, how, when, why that fits. If it fits. Um, ooh. Oh. The Ten of Cups with the High Priestess and the goodness. The Black Egg. The Ten of Cups with the High Priestess. The Ten of Cups and the High Priestess, just with the illustration of the Ten of Cups, it feels like it all connects somehow. Um, there's also the energy of like channeling those or creating streams for those to like go into. I don't know what that means or how you do that, Virgo. I'm not a Virgo. And that is beyond the scope of this reading. Ah, there we go. That's beyond the scope of this reading, Virgo. And there is no extended, so you're going to have to figure it out yourself. Even if there was an extended, it'd still be beyond the scope of the extended because it'd be general. That is something that is more like specific, beyond the scope of a general reading on this channel from me. Maybe you can go somewhere else. Maybe you can ask another reader to pull cards for you. Maybe you can pull cards for yourself. I don't know. It's beyond the scope of this. The High Priestess said it's beyond my purview, so sorry. It's interesting because the White Tiger, I believe. Let me do another flip through because I believe it's over here. Why are there? Oh, that's the whale. That's why. I was like, why? What? Is she over here, or did I just see that when I was flipping through the cards earlier? The White Tiger, in fact, is not here, so I must have just saw it at the bottom of the deck earlier at some point. Is the White Tiger in here? I feel like I've seen the White Tiger since. Oh, okay. I was like, how am I seeing that crow again? Wasn't that crow at the bottom of one of the other decks? But no, it was at the bottom of this pile. I guess the White Tiger was in the middle. Because it doesn't look like she's over here either. And we're still going to read the middle, so the White Tiger might come up again. We'll keep the butterfly here. Wait, did I just put these in reverse? I think I did. All right. Oh, there's the vulture. I just saw a moon. Anyway. See, there's this eclipse in the elk, and then the moon in the white tiger. So it's like when the moon isn't eclipsing the sun, it's doing something else. I'm like, it feels like even that could be a full moon. I don't know. That's between you and Spirit, Virgo. But this coming out on the side of the ancient ones, this might not even necessarily be within your control. This might just be the energy of like when it comes to the divine, when it comes to the ancient ones, when it comes to our spiritual elder brethren and sisterin and kinfolk, because we're spirits in a body. So if we're spirits in a body and like angels and stuff and our spirits, like, are we related like distantly? Like if the divine created everything, then aren't we like at least cousins or something? You know what I mean? Like, is there a family genealogical tree between like, well, first I created these beings and then over here these beings bred with those beings and that created this line, and these beings over here did this and that created that line. And I mean, since the divine created all of us, like, aren't we related? I don't know. Anyway, this is on the like every like certain things are happening for a reason, and it's very like this that everything connects and stuff in ways that only the high priestess knows. But there is a purpose. It feels like there is a purpose that is yet to be revealed over here, but it's almost like see, that goes back to the other side a little bit. Welcome back. It's almost like in order for those things to be hatched, in order for those things to be born, certain things are still changing. There are a few changes are still needed. That was the baby owls in the coffin. It's like before certain energies can come in, there are still a few things that need to be adjusted. Because it's the Ten of Cups, I would say that this isn't just within you, Virgo, so you get to breathe a sigh of relief. But that's not to say that some of the changes that you make inside of you don't affect this in some way. The first one was more externally focused. This is a little bit more internal. Those internal changes, that internal metamorphosis, helps to contribute to the grander stage of things for something to be born in a way. I still need to get Lenormand after a waltz. Whew, I'm getting hungry. What am I going to eat? What are you eating, Virgo? Who? It was Matthew. Matthew mentioned that cranberry salad. I didn't say anything. I was just like, oh, okay, that's what you're eating. Fine. I don't like salads. I don't like cranberry. He mentioned tuna. I don't care for tuna. The next day, I come home from maybe a walk in the cemetery because I didn't work for that long yesterday or the day before, whenever. I come in here, I see my mom with some eggs, hard-boiled eggs that have been peeled, and I smell a smell. And I'm like, are you making deviled eggs or something? She said, no, I'm making tuna. And I was like, gosh darn it, Matthew. Bringing that tuna energy into my life. And I was like, oh, I don't want tuna. I don't like tuna. My mom was like, have you ever had tuna? And I was like, no, I don't like fish. And then my dad was like, what was that name of the fish that we had? The reason why you said you would never eat fish. And I'm there because my mom says it all the time. I'm like, I don't remember the fish because I don't remember this conversation. I don't remember ever saying I'm not going to eat fish anymore after we got this pet fish. So I can't tell you what fish it is, but apparently he remembers, and my mom always says it. So at some point in time, we had a pet fish, and it's because of that pet fish that I don't like fish. I still ate fish sticks, but we all know that fish sticks aren't real fish. You know what I mean? Not the ones that you get in the freezer. Just like, is Taco Bell real meat? It's questionable. I could very much. I eat so much fast food. I could be vegetarian and not even know it, because that ain't real meat. I'm just playing. Anyway, you ran out of pizza. No. You just ate salad for dinner. Oof, Eve, you can keep that energy. The Taurus in me is not trying to get, what is that? Fallout manifestation, whatever energy, remnants of your realities. You can keep the salads and the tuna. But if you win the lottery, I will take some of that. And not just because I want more money. Sorry, Virgo. Okay. I went on a bit of a tangent. It's fine. This is what you get when you come here. If you don't like it, go somewhere else. I rescind my apology. But I am still a little sorry that I went off on a tangent. So. Oh. 21. No. What's the 21 in this deck? I feel like I saw the 21. Well, here's the 12. Oh, look, there's a 3-3 at the bottom of the deck. The arrow and the coyote cutting right through the BS. This, I think, can be the ancient ones, though. I think this is the ancient ones. And it feels like for anything outside of the ancient ones, again, going back to that primal sort of nature of it, it's at this point, it's almost like it's just energy. It doesn't have a purpose. It doesn't have a form. It doesn't have a direction. And so with the coyote, because it came out as the scorpion, it's like it could be really easy to confuse the chaotic nature of this energy as something like trickstery. It's just like it can be anything. It's almost like a stem cell. It hasn't been given yet a certain sort of instructions and codes and signals and vibrations and frequencies in order to get it to differentiate. And whenever we see gaze into, peer into the void or the space of pure potential, maybe we can read it as like dangerous or chaotic, or we can fall into the connotations of the word chaos and it comes out as trickery. But with the arrow, it sees right through. It gives it purpose, form, direction. Sagittarius might actually be your friend, Virgo. And it's interesting because with the Scorpion and with water, it's been a lot of like more of the focus on the Scorpio sextile. But with the square being challenges, they hold lessons. Sagittarius might be your friend. As I just talked about the one Sagittarius. Anyway, it doesn't. Take me out of it. Throw me away. This is for you. The Mountain is the card that comes out with scenery that does sort of look like the coffin. We see the spires, we see the grayscale, we see that huge cloud over the mountain. Actually, those are the mountains. LOL. I thought this was just the city with like this cloud, like this dark rain cloud over the city. That was just very peaky instead of lumpy in some areas, but that's literally the mountain behind the city. And then a card fell on top of the swan, and it's flowers in reverse. A card fell on top of the swan, and it's flowers in reverse. That's clouds, because it's a 6. It didn't come up as a 9, it came up as the 6. So I think it's going back to the clouds because they already came out. So this is interesting. And I mistook the mountains for clouds. This is a 3 and a 9, or a 3 and a 6 and a 9. It's Tesla, okay? It's Tesla. Sagittarius plus trickster equals friends. I don't know that, man. Hey. Love that for you, Steph. You had shrimp shish kebabs. No wine either. Blue Lotus tea. I've been seeing the word lotus. I think there was some Lotus tarot video. There's another Blue Lotus tea. I think you've talked about that before. I feel like I know I've talked about a lotus recently. No mud, no lotus, and the jewel is in the lotus. So if you want the jewel, you're gonna have to put up with the mud because that's how you get the lotus. But it wasn't that. Like I feel like I thought lotus, or I dreamed about lotuses. I have a purple lotus, but it's not that. Why do I feel like? I feel like lotus means something that I don't remember in like waking reality. I don't know. Egyptians used to soak blue lotus in wine. Oh, snap. All right, Holly. So the mountain with flowers in reverse. Hold up. Hold up. Oh, this is a callback to Middle Earth or the Middle World. The 6 and the 8 on the first one. Oh, duh. I'm so slow. That was the 36-9. That was the end. The ancient ones is the one is the beginning. I started with the beginning and now I started with the end and now I'm at the beginning. Like, why is the beginning tying to the end? Like, that doesn't make sense. Like, we're referencing the end because here's the 6 and the 8, right? Flowers came out on the middle, closer to the beginning, in reverse, making it a 6 instead of the 9. Again, the number of clouds. And then at the bottom of mountain is the 8 of clubs. So I saw this 8 and I was like, wait, didn't I already get 8? And look, like I said, it mirrors and echoes the energy of coffin. Okay, so all right. But it's a 21-3 and a 6/9. There's this 369 Tesla trap. I'm like, okay, all right. It makes sense. It makes sense. There's a reason and a purpose behind this. Okay, we have established that. Also, it's not a 21, but the 2 and the 10. 10 is a 1, 2 and 1, 21, question mark. The high priestess with all this interconnected wovenness and whatever. And the flowers had to come out in reverse in order to be the 6. And all of these cards are upright, but it like flipped out, anyway. Uh, what immediately, well, this is the mountain. I was with my grandma. That's funny. I went with my grandma to help her. I talked about this, I think yesterday, maybe not. To help her wash her car. She was like, "Hey, grandson, I haven't heard from you in a while. Like, you forgot about me, blah, blah, blah." I'm like, "Oh, hey, mom. Like, how's it going? Like, sorry. Like, I love you." And she was like, "Oh, I love you too. So I'm going to the car wash. And can you ride with me to help me clean my car?" And I was like, "Oh, okay. You need something. All right." I didn't say it like that, but I was like, wow, you call me giving me a hard time and you need something. Okay. But anyway, so I go to work today and I didn't have to go in today, but I wanted to go in today because I didn't want to burn a vacation day and it wasn't going to be a full day. So I went in today. I'm doing the thing. I see one of the compounding supervisors, the compounding head honcho dude or whatever. And he's like, "Hey, were you," look, there's the number 5. He was like, "Hey, were you washing your car 5 days ago?" I was like, "Oh, I was out with my grandma." He's like, "Yeah, up north." I was like, "Yeah, he saw me." I was like, "Oh, okay." Um, and it's funny because his daughters, I've heard, or one of his daughters goes to one of the high schools that we passed. And as we passed the high school that day, she took me to snow. That was the other day. That was yesterday when she went to Kohl's. And then she took me to Starbucks before she dropped me off at the cemetery. And that was the Starbucks that was in the garbage can that I saw before I left. Anyway, speaking of 10 of Cups, how everything's interconnected. So anyway, I already lost my train of thought. Oh, that's why. I can't remember if it was after we washed her car when we were going to Kohl's. My grandma said something, and it was like, I don't think she said it, but it popped into my mind like, look towards the hills from whence cometh our help. But it's not the heels, but it makes me think of that. These mountains in the back, it's like look towards the heels. And it's interesting because it's not a non-EL. I feel like maybe Eve was here. Because I know I wasn't talking directly to Eve, or was I talking directly to Eve? Or maybe I just mentioned the Angelarium year 2 and it made me think of Eve. Because I was like, I'm reading Virgo now, so I couldn't have been reading Virgo before. But it reminded me, I thought of that angel recently. That's like, look just beyond the horizon. It had to, maybe it was for Capricorn, because Capricorn got that energy. But it was like, look beyond the horizon, because beyond this trouble lies some brand new horizon, some brand new day, whatever. But it's interesting because the mountains look very foreboding in this card, but it feels like is going to come from. Maybe maybe Capricorn can also help. Oh, I don't know, because Capricorn mountains, that makes sense, right? I'm going to look for the Three of Pentacles. I'm going to search all of these except for the one in the middle for the Three of Pentacles. I think I might find it in that first one, but I don't know, even though I've looked through that deck twice. If the Three of Pentacles comes out, oh, here's the Three of Pentacles. Oh, okay. See, there's the fox. Fox being trickster just like the coyote. But anyway, so I found the Three of Pentacles because it's a mountain. It was this way. It's between the Lion and Temperance. I thought it was Strength. It's between the Lion and Temperance. See, this is that tempered strength energy. Again. Tempered strength has a context here. We have a context for tempered strength. Do you know what the context for tempered strength is here, Virgo? For the Virgo that chose the ancient ones. Do you know what this tempered strength is? Do you know? I'll give you a clue. It's this: providing the channels, the direction for that primal energy to flow into, bringing it into protection, giving it a purpose, giving it a function, rather than the pure sort of chaotic default state that it has. Because if it's an energy that embodies all of potentiality, not all of those potentials are good. Not all of those potentials are great. Some of those potentials are very, very, very not awesome. So in some way, that fear is warranted. But that's just because, like, in its state of pure potential, it can fulfill that potential just like it can fulfill any other. There's no probability that it does one more so than the other. But it's the action, it's the channeling, it's the direction that you help to incorporate or set or whatever that gives that energy purpose, that gives it a function. And it feels like that's what this tempered strength is. And there are like the ridges in the tree. There are these cracks and crevices in the mountain. It's almost like if it were lava. These are the cracks and crevices that were put into the mountain because there's a town at the base of the mountain. This is the town. Let's say this is a town, this is a town, this is a town. All three of these are towns. So the carver of this mountain has to create channels that flow around these towns. And it may even flow through it, but come out on the other side. Because when the energy comes out, if it has those channels, it won't destroy them. That's the protection. The protection is built into the mountain, question mark? I don't know. This is the tempered strength. No funerals today, Virgo. Well, we'll see. But you asked for protection before you did. That's what you asked the goddess. Get. what her message was to me. And I drew the eagle card, the holy mountain. Oh, snap, and the earth. Oh, snap. You were there for Capricorn. Yeah, I remember that. Oh my gosh. This is a heron. Hey, you remember Karen the Heron, Eve? I don't remember Karen the Heron. I don't remember the specifics of that story, but I remember doing it. It's interesting that that's a heron because I was on Facebook the other day, and I don't know where this friend is, but he was like, "Oh, it's Farm Simulator 2022." He was on a tractor somewhere. Can I not? There we go. You see that? I saw this video yesterday. Look at him. Look at all that temperance. Look at all that temperance. Come through, synchronicities. Oh, my battery's fully charged. His name is Angel, by the way. So 14 is the angel in the Spirit Keeper's Tarot that I used in one of those readings recently. Come through, Angel. Okay, on his little tractor. What if he's a Leo? I don't know if he's a Leo. It doesn't matter. That tempered strength is around this mountain. So it's interesting. It's like it's pulling on the strength of Capricorn. Well, it could be. I don't know if it's Virgo necessarily scaling the mountain, though. Those are egrets. Okay, or egrets. I don't know birds, but I thought they looked kind of like temperance. So I was like, oh, it's not. Okay. So that's this. So let's go to the middle. I don't know. See, Virgo, the ancient one side is interesting because I don't know how much of this is necessarily like you. It feels like a lot of this energy is like outside of you, but it also feels like there are things that you do. Because again, with the butterfly here, it's like there's something that you do. There are changes that you make within yourself that actually help to set the stage for this black egg to hatch. And it's also interesting because this black egg could not be black because now we're going to the middle and we had this whole thing in the middle on the other side where it's like all of this isn't actually the swan. It's like the swan has been tarred and, you bust out the Dove dish soap and you clean the swans and you put them back in the ocean. I don't know. Put them back out at Hyde Park with all the other birds. So now we do come back to the water, though, because water is still going to be our card in the middle, but I am going to get you some different tarot and Lenormand cards. You get herons and egrets in your yard. Oh, snap. They eat frogs and crawfish. Very patient birds. Poor frogs. But you probably sleep a little better at night. Sorry. I think Kirsty gets birds, ducks, geese. And because I saw the fox and I was like, I think she said that there are foxes that like eat the birds out where she is or was. Or for soon to be formally is. Oh, goodness. Okay, well. So, Virgo, the ancient Virgo, you, right there. The big dog has found its way to us again. The very large dog. And it's interesting that 21 is a 3. And the 3 of Pentacles had the mountain on it. It's a 3. These decks are talking to each other, and they're not even all, there's different authors and everything, illustrators and everything. This deer is here in the middle, or in water in the middle, Virgo. And it's interesting that the deer is here because I'm looking at the elk, look at the deer. You never see foxes, only coyotes around those parts. You got the coyotes, she's got the foxes. And the bottom of the deck is this Five of Swords. Oh, there's our tiger. Right behind the Five of Swords is the tiger. Oh, that's a feeling. I don't know what that is. I'm sorry. I don't know what that was. But look again. Earth and fire. Earth and fire again. What is up? Eve, is this like literally you? Sorry. I'm like, what's up with all this earth and fire? What's up with all this earth and fire? Flashback to like, what, 2 or 3 nights ago when I'm talking about how I'm like Pisces and Taurus, and Eve is like, oh, I'm earth and fire. Anyway, this is not a specific reading for Everlong Mystic. This is a general message. She's a Virgo. So if we see some things, she is part of the general Virgo collective. Anyway. It was the Five of Swords and then the tiger, right? And then we have the priestess, the high priestess, with this Ten of Cups over here. If I can grab the card. The high priestess with this Ten of Cups. We got the 5 cups on top, the 5 cups on the bottom. 5 and 5, right? Well, here's a 5 of Swords. And there's like the worm is cut in half. So there's the half of the worm up top and there's the half of the worm on the bottom with the high priestess. Well, with the 5 of Swords, it's the tiger. So it's that same energy. I'm going to pull the Lenormand right now. Eve. I mean, not all of Eve's Taurus and Pisces readings are for me or just mine. So, you know. I only want to get one Lenormand, and it's going to be this one. Of course, it's the moon. Oh, look, it's a 32, another 5. If you were like, oh, but Patrick, that's the 10 of cups. And you can say, yeah, like half of the cups are at the top. Like there are 5 cups on the top and 5 cups on the bottom. And that's only 1 5 of wands or 5 of swords. Well, here's another 5 to make it 10 just for you. And it's the moon. Hello. What's on the forehead of the tiger? Here's another 5 to make it 10 just for you. But this moon comes with the clock. Didn't I literally say that the last time I was live? No one knows the time or place. Or was that for Capricorn too? I don't think it was for Capricorn. I don't know. I don't even remember the context of that. No one knows the time or place. Was it because the moon was at the bottom of the deck? Was that Capricorn? That had the moon. Yeah, that was Capricorn. It was the moon at the bottom of the deck with the star, and then the high priestess came out. What's going on with the earth signs? Uranus is in Taurus right now, and Pluto is still in Capricorn. So it's not surprising if the earth is rumbling a little bit. What time is it? 10:10. I saw that Virgo lava cake exam. It might erupt. Oh, look, and the snake is at the bottom again. Snake was behind the moon, number 7. See, but it's the moon up there that's like shining down this ray of light on the snake. I feel like this. I'm gonna take the white tiger and the repeat of the high priestess energy with this moon card to say that this is beyond the scope of this reading. um, but I will say it's like this because like this is like ancient ones, bigger energy. Not necessarily you, but I was like, Virgo, somehow you do this, and then the deer comes out without the horns. See, in the look, see the tiger with this 5 and that other 5. See, this is the 5 that Virgo would know about or see. The high priestess, the tiger would see the other 5. The other 5 being this moon. What will happen in time or what will be revealed in time, just like this high priestess sees what's going on with these 10 cups, right? So, Virgo, while you're doing whatever you are doing / have to do with this 5 of Swords energy, this tiger sees your antlers. Man, I wish I could overlay these cards. This tiger sees your antlers. But it's like these antlers aren't perceivable with 3D eyes. You may not even necessarily perceive these antlers. But again, it feels like it goes back and it mirrors that energy of with your tempered strength. Something that you change or something that changes within you sets the stage for this black egg to hatch. And again, it almost mirrors. See ya, Holly? It almost mirrors what happened with the middle world and on the other side, because it's like, in the way it's like you do something that is the sapling. It gets the seed that was planted for that tree to finally sprout, but it's not going to turn into a full grown, mature oak tree overnight. I'm not going to say it's not going to happen within your lifetime, but it just feels like it's not for you to see it from beginning to end. It's for you to come in, to recycle, to decompose, to break down whatever you need to break down to get that to put into the seed to get the seed to grow. Like it's all about getting the seed to sprout. You don't have to 7 of Pentacles it. You don't have to cultivate, nurture, keep pouring. You just like 6 of Pentacles, make sure it gets everything it needs. That was from this side. On this side, in the middle, it's just like, well, what does the deer mean? Because deer, almost like the rabbit, is another prey animal, but it's like a hyper conscious prey animal. It's like hyper aware. You make any noise and the deer looks at you, the ears go up, and then it takes off running, just like the rabbit. It's not one of those like chill prey animals. I don't know what a chill prey animal is, but the deer isn't one of them. The deer is like hyper aware, hyper vigilant. Um, but this one isn't necessarily, because this feels like a deer in approach. Or maybe I'll let you look at the deer and you see for yourself. I don't want to project what I'm seeing on the deer for you. You can look at the deer and see what you see. There's the thing that you see, and then there's what the tiger sees. And I don't think this tiger is looking at the deer like it's its next meal. Is the deer approaching the tiger? Is this Five of Swords? You know, it's almost like, let's say that um, there's I saw this tweet. It was a person making Rottweiler noises, and somebody was like, this person was a Rottweiler in their past life or in their previous incarnation or whatever. But it feels like this deer is one person and this tiger is another person. And until this appointed time, the deer was just the deer and the tiger was just a tiger. The deer knew that the deer was more than a deer, and the tiger knew that the tiger was more than just a tiger, but the deer lived the life of the deer and the tiger lived the life of the tiger. And one day, I don't even think deer and tiger necessarily share the same habitat. This ain't a gazelle. Shout out to the rare gazelle, but there's a gazelle card. It's not the gazelle, it's the deer. Um, and it's like one day the deer just so happens to see the tiger. And the deer is going to run and the tiger is going to pounce, but then something happens. There's a moment of recognition. And in that moment of recognition, the predator prey instinct is cut. So now, like, they approach, and these are swords. It's in the mind. The deer just got into the habit. It's like at first, when the deer was young, it knew it wasn't just the deer. When the tiger was young, it knew it was more than just a tiger. But you know, as you live life as a deer or as a tiger, you fall into the habits of it. But something happens, and it snaps. And there's a moment of clarity. There's a moment of recognition here, and what that recognition leads to, the revelations that occur. Who is the deer beyond just a deer? Who is the tiger beyond just a tiger? It's the moon card. I don't know. It's for you. If it's for you. Now, as we're grounding this, if we're going to ground this, if we're going to hold this the center, if we're going to make this like real life 3D, well, the Five of Cups is down here with the snake. So that could be like maybe it's kind of a low hanging fruit, but it feels resonant. It feels pertinent to the message to include in the general. Like maybe there's something that you've always felt drive to. There's something that you've always wanted to do or you've always felt connected to. But you never in the past, it's like success was hard to come by. And so maybe you tried time and time again and something kept failing and kept failing and kept failing. And so one day you eventually give up. Or maybe you never tried because although you felt the pull, you didn't necessarily think that you had what it took to make it. And so you settle for years or for some time. But in all of that settling, there are things that you're like picking up. There are things that you're learning. Maybe you're finding things that you can more easily recognize yourself as good at. Maybe you build up a certain amount of confidence or you build up a certain amount of, you build a name for yourself in a certain area. And it's not one that you necessarily care to have a name in because there isn't necessarily that same pool. It doesn't necessarily carry as much passion or drive for you, but because it doesn't, it was safe. It was a safe space for you to learn to survive and then to eventually thrive. And now it's going to come to time when Either you're going to get an opportunity or you're going to want to do that thing. So in your safe space, you were building up the confidence. You were, girding yourself to not flee at the sight of minor rustling in the bush. And then the tiger comes. And it's like, you've put in the time in the darkness. You've done the things, the very peripheral things to increase your chances and your odds for success. Now you just got to show up. No one knows the day or time, but you find yourself facing that thing head on, and with the correct choice that you make, whatever the correct choice is for you, because like Miss Remy, formerly Miss Remy Healings, now the rare gazelle, again, the gazelle is not the deer, but the gazelle we're talking about, like she said, who's to say what's the right or wrong choice? You are. You say. You live life, and if that choice is conducive to a certain state of life that you may see as good, then you may say it's a good choice. If that choice brings forth consequences or resulting situations, if the cause being your choice brings effects that you don't necessarily like, you may look back and say it's a bad choice. You make a choice to either face the tiger or not. If you choose to face the tiger, it feels like it will cut whatever had bound you. And it's not even a snake. That's the thing about it. It's not even a snake. It's just a worm. But when you're scared, when you have a phobia, shoestrings can look like snakes. Lint pasta can look like snakes. You realize it's an earthworm, and you got this. So that's all of this. That's all of the Virgo. Virgo, I'm surprised that you get my longest reading. I've only done 3 out of these. Hopefully none are longer than 2 hours and 11 minutes and 53 seconds. But yeah. Who is Virgo? A deer and a tiger. There you go. Hey, Shayna, how you doing? Where is the gazelle? I feel like the gazelle is in this middle one because I don't think I've seen it. Because I feel like I would have been like, oh my gosh, it's Remy. Oh, so the 5 of Cups that was at the bottom of the deck with the snake at the other side, behind that 5 of Cups is Strength. Behind Strength is the Hanged Man. That's the cutting of the cord. That is breaking yourself free. Oh, snap. They had a free weekend the other day. My subscription to Final Fantasy 14 is still live. I literally played it twice in November, and they're still collecting $14.99 from me a month. And every time I see it, I'm like, oh, I need to cancel the subscription, but I'm always like at work or something. If I'm looking at my bank account, it's probably because I'm about to spend money, and I'm probably not spending money at home if I'm looking at my bank account. And by the time I get home, I forget. So, anyway, that's tapping into that reserve strength. And I love the rose in the mouth of this lion because it's not tempered strength, but it is. It's like to not. It's first on one hand, it's like to not go too far, but on the second hand, because of the roads, it's like it's something that's done out of love. Because it's the 5 of Cups and the Hangman, it reads a little bit more self-love, but it could be love for someone else that gets you to do the thing that is brave, and then you eventually, sometimes we got to do it for someone else before we can do it for ourselves. And if that is how it is, it's just how it is. No judgment there, but it would be cool if, Virgo, you reach the point where you can do things for you because you deserve it. Just like, other people deserve it, you deserve it. And who deserves to give you the things that you deserve more than anybody else? You deserve to give it to yourself. And also you deserve other people to give you like nice things too, because, it's not just the Taurus in me that's like, I want nice things. And I think you should get them for me. It's my Venus and Aries. I'm kidding. Anyway, that's what I got for you, Virgo. I'm going to get you some final cards. This was less intimidating than I thought it would be. It wasn't, but it was. I don't know. I just like, I want better for Virgos. Even if you're doing well, Virgo, I still want better for you. But if you're doing well, I'm glad that you're doing well. You know what I mean? Not to discredit where you are, but I don't know. I think Virgos deserve the world. I think the Virgos that deserve the world deserve the world. Not every Virgo deserves the world. Um, but for those that do, I think you deserve the world, obviously. Yeah, that was me with Netflix too. That's why I was like, I'm not gonna get Netflix. I was without Netflix for so long that when I tried to go back and reactivate Netflix, I didn't even have an account. They were like, that email doesn't have an account associated with it. I was like, what? I had Netflix for years. For years. I had Netflix back when they were still sending you DVDs in the mail. I had Netflix when Netflix and chill was a thing because nothing was on Netflix. And they're like, oh, you don't have an account? And then I didn't even get another free 2-week trial. It's a shame. But yeah, I had Netflix for like months and I wasn't using it. And then when I finally canceled the subscription, I was like, oh, I'm never getting it again because I just waste money. But that's on me for being too lazy to just like, I wasn't even like back when I was still, not even having the abundance that I have now when things were a lot tighter and more stressful. I was still just letting them take money month after month. I don't know. Anyway. I think I got a DVD from Netflix in the mail. I don't even think I watched it. I think I just held it for a few days and then I sent it back. And then they sent me another DVD and I didn't watch that one either. And then they gave you the choice of like DVD or stream. And I was like, oh, I'll just do DVD. Or I'll just stream because I never watched the DVD. So Anyway. You're watching Zoo on Netflix. Ooh. You also had Netflix with DVDs back in the day. Yeah, see? We're the OGs. I'm just playing. Thank you. Thank you, Virgo, for allowing me to read for you. Thank you, Virgo, for not melting my brain and making me puke my guts out on live. Thank you. Thank you, Virgo, for not feeling like you can trust that Pisces, that you got to go to Scorpio and Capricorn and Sagittarius and everybody else. If you want Jupiter energy, Virgo, Pisces is right there. Virgo's like, Pisces, I know you're there for me, but I need someone who's like a little more not you. I'm like, fair. That's fair. I also have people that I go to. I got Netflix to watch Umbrella Academy. I enjoyed it. I had questions at the end of season 3 that I didn't understand because of season 1. But I was like, because of the events of season 1, it makes sense that season 3 didn't unfold. I enjoyed it. I am a little curious as to where they're going to go with season 4. I was like, is there a season 4? There was one scene in season 3. I was like, what? And then at the end of season 3, like in the last 2 episodes, something happens, but I feel like they don't elaborate enough on the whatness of it. I'm like, okay, all right. I still got to finish the last episode of Stranger Things, but that was a very painful conversation that Will had with Mike in the back of that car. And I'm just like, oof. And Jonathan was looking in the mirror. I felt like I was Jonathan watching that scene, just like, oh gosh. But anyway. No, it was season 2. I think it was season 2. It was season 2 that had the scene. And then at the end of season 3, because I thought it would have been more of a thing in season 3, but they didn't really talk about it until like the end. And I was like, so we're not going to talk about the elephant in the room because nobody knew there was an elephant in the room because that elephant happened behind closed doors, like that moon card. I'm just like, okay. But apparently, like in the comics or whatever, there's a little bit more exposition, although it seems like the comics don't necessarily expound upon everything. So, anyway. Yeah. 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 All right. Virgo, we made it. Ooh, the world and the Eight of Wands. Look at what you do for the world, Virgo. Virgo makes the world go round. The wheel would be incomplete without you, Virgo. Remember that. And as long as you remain in hermit mode, we will all be incomplete. It's time, Virgo, for you to come to the table with the rest of us and to tell us what you really think. You know what I mean? I think this is the sun in Virgo, Eight of Wands. It came out in reverse. Oh, see, in reverse, it looks like the spider is descending, like coming down the web. Ooh. Remember how I said sun in Virgo? Bottom of the deck is the sun. And we see that same radiating outward radial energy coming out. It's interesting because this is where okay. So on the middle, from the left side, from Middle Earth to water, there was the fire ants and the Three of Swords. And it was like, it feels like something is like really found the soft spot of Virgo and is sticking a thumb in it and twisting, and it is not letting up. The spider catches the ants. I will find the fire ants card for you. The spider catches the ants to keep them from getting to the sun. Look at that. Take it as it resonates. That's your final card. And the tower is below the sun. So it feels like that really gets things to like, it feels like when the ants were there, either the ants were the source of this like constant fire and now things are going to chill out so this tree can heal. But it feels like without the ants there, because you are the Eight of Wands that illuminates the world only spins because of you, Virgo. It's almost like, because lightning, it feels like it strikes the tallest thing. So without the fire ants eclipsing the sun, and an ant by itself can't eclipse much of anything besides a breadcrumb. But if you get enough of them and the perspective is right, they can eclipse the sun. But without them doing that, it's almost like the lightning can take this tower out piece by piece by piece by piece until the tallest thing in the field is you, Virgo. And then you're the Eight of Wands that gets that rainbow lightning and you illuminate your world. Take it as it resonates. What does it mean to you? Cool. I am hungry. I gotta work a full day tomorrow. Darn it. I don't want to work a full day. I should take vacation. I'm ready to go on another trip. I was going to go to Canada at the end of the month, but I didn't get enough notice. And now I'm like, oh, goodness. Anyway, welcome back. Do I have reversals in here? Why is the octopus in reverse? Are there more cards in reverse, or is it just the octopus? Looks like the octopus is the only card up. The firefly, the octopus, the firefly. What else is in reverse? The panther, the golden egg. We got a handful of cards in reverse. The hyena, the hyena, the fish, and the eagle. So these are the cards in reverse. Most of them are dark, like have dark backgrounds. So first it's the firefly, and then it was the octopus. Then it's the panther. Then it's the golden egg. It feels like almost like something moving, like this golden light moving through the body from the head to the eyes. Golden egg. This is the birth of Athena, because it's like in the head, in the eyes, and then an egg. Athena was born from this very painful headache that Zeus had, and it whoop, she just popped out as an egg. She hatched from an egg. Then it's the hyena with the fish and the eagle. Now there is an eclipse, sun moon energy. Well, there's a sun moon energy between the fish and the eagle. And then we see the dark and light side of the moon with the hyena. There's one side of the moon that we never see. We never see the dark side of the moon, because of the way it orbits the earth. Like the same side of the moon always faces the earth. But it feels like this fish, it reads as remote viewing. I know what that means, but I don't know. I don't understand it in this context. So it feels like remote viewing the dark side of the moon that we can't see. But then there's this eagle. Girl, this is too much. This is just the infiltration of Umbrella Academy. Because season 2 of Umbrella Academy, it was in the same scene when I was like, what? And then in season 3, like the conclusion of it, again, they don't really elaborate, I feel. Eva's going live? What? You were considering playing hooky tomorrow? Hey, me too. Ooh. You already did a half day today and you're off Friday. I love that. It's I did a half day today, less than half day yesterday. I did like half an hour yesterday, a few hours Sunday, and then full days tomorrow and Friday. I might see if I can finagle Friday. I might see if I can take it off. I might do it. I might not. I don't know. The moon is on the horse with the bumblebee. Okay. Last card, please, from the animal spirits. Oh, I'm just going to pull this card, right? Not this one, this one. Oh, that's more than one. The fish and the dolphin. With the bumblebee at the bottom of the deck. This is playful. It feels like, I don't know if it's like a hyper focus, but it feels like this fish is like very intently trying to find something. But it feels like if you introduce a little playfulness, the thing will find you. And it'll find you in a state that like you want to be in, right? It's like if you're your playful self and it finds you there, then it might, if it gets to know you in that playful energy, that's what it'll get to expect. And if it likes you, you can be that, right? But if you're all like broody and serious and whatever, and it finds you there, then it's almost like that's what you got to keep up. You know what I mean? Not necessarily, but it's like it can be fun. You can enjoy the experience. You know, take a day off. Self love, self care. That's what it is. Self care. You have to go into the office on Fridays. Oof. You're off Friday. Everyone's taking Friday off instead of you. Mm-hmm. Oh. So we get the bear and the letter. 2715. With Clover at the bottom of the deck. Almost going back to the fish and the dolphin. I don't know. It almost reads like it may be a fortunate time to communicate some things that you've been holding on to, especially if it's like, hey, like I've really been wanting to do this thing lately. Um, it feels like let somebody know. You may find that other people want to do it too, or I don't know. It feels like it'll work out. It's almost like you have not because you ask not type of energy. It's like communication will get something to thaw. And it feels like, I don't know if it's astrological, but it feels like it's a time where communication is like auspicious. Like it is auspicious to communicate things in this time. I don't know if like Mercury is going to not be retrograde or if Mercury is going to be in a good aspect to like Jupiter or if Mercury is going to be exalted or something like that. You know what I mean? I don't necessarily know if it's astrological, but it feels like a time where communication is it's auspicious to say how you feel or to communicate a deep desire. It feels like it'll be met. And behind the clover is the gentleman. So definitely you may find that somebody else like wants to do the thing too. I don't know. I wouldn't necessarily say that that involves romance. It might. I mean, I'm more so getting it as like, hey, like I want to take a trip to go to this place. And someone's like, oh my gosh, me too. Like, let's go. And then it becomes a thing. And then you really enjoy it. Um, take it as it resonates. Corporate dress, pajamas. Birkenstocks. I don't have any Birks. I got Crocs. Does that count? I wore my Crocs in one day because I had to go, like, I forgot my wallet upstairs and I had to go get my wallet. And I made it all the way home. And I was like, oh, I'm going to go on Crocs. I feel so naughty. Instead of my work boots. Interestingly enough, the eagle is here again. Again, different illustrators, different artists, but they're both depicting the eagle doing a similar thing. Except for this deck, we only see a hint of the glimmer. It was full shine in the animal spirits. You're a manager too? Ooh. Oh, Friday is casual day. That makes sense. You got to set the tone. I was talking to some dude and he was like, oh, like he's a man. He was talking about somebody else. He was like, oh, they always get first shift on the week throughout the week, first shift. And I was like, oh, like, do they have seniority? And he was like, oh, they're the manager slash supervisor. And I was like, oh, well, if they're the manager slash supervisor and like everybody is here first shift Monday through Friday, it kind of makes sense that they're here. In my brain, I didn't say that out loud, but I was like, oh, yeah, that makes sense if they're the supervisor or the manager. Um, and then they were like, yeah, and like they kiss butt or whatever. And I was like, yeah, but I feel like, because it's almost like managers can be that sort of like an in between. And it's like because they are privy to a little bit more, there's like some considerations and some things that like they may know the reason why things have to be done a certain way, or they may know. But I was thinking about that earlier today. It's like, I was like, if I work for a place, I would love to work for someone like a cross functional, I forget what the word is, interdisciplinary team where like there's these people and those people and those people, where like everyone is considerate of the demands and duties of the other people. Because I think when they're not, it can be really easy to like think that these people aren't doing their job, or those people are lazy, or these people are clueless, or blah blah blah, whatever. But it's like everyone comes to the table with their own things to like worry about. And I think sometimes it can be easy to forget that and to assume that because other people aren't doing what we specifically need them to do, that they're lazy or they're not doing their job or that they don't know anything or whatever. But it's like, no, they have a whole job outside of what you specifically need them to do, just like you have a whole job outside of what they specifically need you to do. Like, it goes both ways. And like, if that understanding was there, I would love it. I would love it. And I was just thinking about some people at my work. So anyway, the male managers get Fridays off, so you have to be there. What? Wait. Sometimes they are clueless. That is a fact. Sometimes that is indeed a thing. That is dumb. Eagle is Scorpio. Because I saw the eagle on the world card. I was like, what? What's the eagle there? The angel is Aquarius. The eagle is Scorpio. I'd be like, well, I don't know if you could just say no. Like, why is it that all those other managers get today off? Like, is there something going on here? Oh, girl. Oh, girl. Y'all know how like 10, 30, 40 is kind of sort of a thing right now? Oddly enough, 20 is kind of missing, but I guess I saw Apocalypse Judgment the other day, so it isn't. 40 came out. 30 is at the bottom of the deck. 40 is Pachamama, which I'm mostly clueless about. 30 is Lightning. Guess what's behind lightning? It's water. Water conducts electricity very well. The earth is made up of some great percentage. Are we made up of a similar percentage of water to non water as the earth is water to not water? Is this Goddess Aya? Gate 5? The Tree of Life is in reverse. I turned it up right. 5859. Hold up. The Sorcerer is in reverse. Excuse me. What is happening? The Medicine Wheel is in reverse. I'm turning these up right. The Rainbow is in reverse. Okay. 5859 Tree of Life, Upper World, 48 to the 58, the Sorcerer again. We ain't gotta go all the way back that far. It feels like it feels like oh, at least you don't gotta tolerate or put up with them, so I guess that's kind of nice. They're golfing together. Oh gosh. So it's feeling like upside down, inside out. It feels like Pachamama is Earth is Gaia. It feels like Pachamama as a rock floating in space is the planet Earth. Um, but like Pachamama is Gaia, so it's like it's the consciousness behind Earth. I don't know if it's necessarily like the avatar of the consciousness of Earth as like a goddess. Um, but with lightning and Pachamama, it feels like our brains are electricity. We have electromagnetic fields. It feels like Earth is like that's the bolt that brought Frankenstein to life. Like Earth, Pachamama, she's back. Basically, it feels like Gaia is back. Pachamama is awake, and the water that conducts this electricity means like she's very awake. Like she's staying awake because the water is going to make sure that that electricity is going to keep like it's like the water is the circuit, the electricity is the power. She's up. She's not asleep. I don't know. Or maybe Virgo has a connection to Pachamama that like Virgo has a connection to the earth or to earth spirits, natural spirits, spirits of nature. Um, and Virgo can tap into the consciousness of Gaia. Because why not? So that is the 24224 here. I hope you all have an amazing whenever you see this. I hope you're acting in alignment to make all that you wish to experience your reality, Virgo, and anyone else that's here. Um, what y'all say? Who has a serious sign? To you, she is the earthy, balanced representation of nature. Like I said, when it comes to Earth, I don't connect as easily and or readily. Like I feel like I do, but I don't. You know what I mean? I feel like I would feel Earth as just like Gaia. You know what I mean? And so when it comes to like, I don't know. Anyway, it's fine. It's fine. I'll catch you all later. Thank you for being here, Virgo. Virgo. If I had a piece of advice for you, Virgo, honestly, it would be don't sell yourself short. And it would also be if you don't want to put up with something, you don't have to. And also, it would be like, you know what I hope for you, Virgo? I hope you have an opportunity to experience just how much you're truly appreciated. And it may be kind of mean, it may be my mean side coming out, but I hope you cry. I hope you feel so loved, so seen, so valued and appreciated that you cry. And I don't want you to cry, but I really, really, really hope you get to experience that. Because I don't know if you necessarily, I don't know how often you get to experience the gratitude that people already have for you. I don't know how often that gets communicated to you. or I don't know if it gets communicated in this like mixed match of love languages, gets lost in translation kind of way. Or like maybe the people who express it to you express it in a way that your love languages aren't necessarily geared towards receiving it, so you may not necessarily see it. So I hope it comes to you in a way that you can't miss. And if you cry, comment down below. Let me know. I'm just playing. Don't do that. I'll catch you all later. See you, Zelda. See you, everybody. Bye.